Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Sagittarius 2024 yearly calendar forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, clairvoyant. Now, the highly talented and attractive Sagittarius, what we're going to do is we're going to take one card for each of the months of the year, and I'll spend some time on it, and it'll give you a good idea of how things are going to thread throughout the period of the 12 months coming up in 2024. Now, by the way, I've lost count of the number of Sagittarians that I've done one-on-one clairvoyant readings for over FaceTime and Skype from different parts of the world. Over the course of the last year, and do you know, it's been so good to get to know you. Now, I've also done healings as well. Now, readings, of course, I charge for, but healings, the spiritual gift that was given to me, is on the basis that I provide it for free. That is, that I'm not to get anything for it, so there are no strings attached, no obligations. It is what it is. It's free. Nothing will be sold or recommended to you. And if you or someone that you know is interested in healing, then just check out the information in the description box at the end of the video as well. Now let's get things underway, shall we? Now, you know that there are no video advertisements breaking their way into this, and so you get to have the experience direct without having video ads cutting into the content. There's the Two of Wands for January, and February is the Ten of Cups, March, Judgment. What might there be here? Ace of Wands, that's always good. Why is that woman burning? Is she burning at the stake? Is she? This is a medieval deck. King of Wands, looking very kingly there. Oh, there's that same dot. Well, I'll get into that in just a second. King of Wands. There's the Eight of Coins for June. And then what is there for July? It is this, whatever it happens to be, the Two of Swords. Let's have a look at that. I'll talk about the astrology of each of the cards as well, I suspect, when I get to it, because that has a lot to play with it. There's the Six of Swords. The 2 and the 6 there, well, in a sense, that doesn't surprise me one iota. And so let's see what there is now for the rest of the year for you. So that's July. August. September is the King of Coins. October is the Ten of Wands. November, the Ace of Cups. And December, the Moon. Well, why don't you come now? Sit down here next to me. I'll bring the vision around so that you and I can have a good close look at this really rather stunning and unusual artwork on this medieval deck together while I do the reading for you. Now we start in January with this Two of Wands. What a great energy this is. Now, spiritually, the astrology that I have here is that of Mars in Aries. Well, Mars is in its own sign here, which is fantastic. Now, Mars is the planet of vitality, energy, and assertion. And Aries is about exploration, pioneering. And the numerology of the two is about balance. So I think you might see the energy moving forward now in new directions. That's the Aries aspect, from a place of balance and harmony. That's the 2, with the confidence and aggression of Mars. That really highlights what I think is going to be you throughout the whole of the year of 2024. There's a warlike energy about you, the dynamic pioneer, domination or mastering of a situation. Maybe mastering somebody else, certainly. I don't think you are satisfied with your lot, and you'll be focusing your intent on making sure that things move forward and that you increase your material and emotional store of value throughout the year. Now, when I say mastery, maybe a better expression might be command, in the sense of having command of yourself as well. Now, this condition demands that your energies are collected and concentrated to provide the courage necessary to embark on new paths. Now, whatever changes may come along the way, you will not be thrown off balance. I suspect that what you're going to do is you're going to come into this year overcome by boldness, courage, fierceness, and, dare I say it, a shamelessness. You'll be generous and proud, but there could also be here in January with you a certain amount of revenge. But I think that the spirit within you is beginning to rebel against its preset boundaries come hell or high water, and you'll be using your willpower to break through stagnant situations and remove long-standing blocks. This is a time to act, and to act on instincts and what you believe to be right without overthinking the situation. Now, I've also got to say, I do think that you'll have powers of dynamic leadership ability and energy. They are building up within you. We turn then to February, and the energy I'm getting from this is unusual. I'm getting Mars in Pisces here, and Mars is generally a problem, unless, of course, it's in its own sign, and it's not exalted or anything in the sign of Pisces. But what we do see here is that there's an emotional stability here. There could well be a happy social or even family unit, and you might be moving to somewhere that you think is really good for you. There's a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment radiating around you. Now, I think you will be fulfilled emotionally, and this is going to radiate from you. And you will, of course, have this same energy to make things happen in your personal life as well. I am looking, as I say, at the spiritual presence of Mars around here, and it can sometimes be disruptive. And so it may well be that I do think that there is a great deal of emotional passion and vitality, but this is a 10, you see, and it devolves into the next suit, which will be, for this suit of cups, the next suit will be swords. And it's a long way away from the ace. So this fulfillment that you get, maybe sometimes it can, and just bear this in mind, and particularly given the time of year that it is, sometimes this fleeting sort of happiness can come around, and that's to do with consumer things. You think that something will make you happy, but then you get bored and you want to move on to the next thing. Now, in a relationship setting, it could relate to the loss of pleasure that the relationship brings, and therefore you either need to reconfigure that relationship or move away from it. Now, I don't say move away from relationships, but if you can imagine a bucket underneath a faucet, and the faucet's turned on and the water, which is emotions, comes into it, there comes a time when the bucket fills and the water spills over the side and is wasted. You're full. Now, what you need to do is you need to get a bigger bucket so that you can capture all that emotional gift which is being bestowed upon you by the divine. And we move next into March, and let's have a look at it. We want to move through these pretty quickly because we've got a lot to cover, haven't we? Now, here's the Judgment card, which has got people coming out of it and souls which may go on to redemption, and redemption to who knows where, and the submerged souls into fire. I can assure you, when you leave this body, there is no fire that you'll be going to. Now I'm getting a lot of the planet of Pluto around here for some reason. This is the spirit of the primal fire. Now, I think you're going to make a decision which has a major impact on your life. Now, that could be a lifestyle or work, but they are going to be positive. And I think it's also for you now. It's a time for you. I think you're going to say that it's time for me to move on after seeing the bigger picture. So take time out to see the bigger picture, because this is a natural period of growth for you, shedding old leaves, so shedding things and people which no longer serve you. I think you'll be quite choosy about what you want to do, and you'll be closing things off. There's a closure here, situations, relationships, and you'll be doing it with a resolute mind. You'll have made your mind up, and you'll be taking definite action with respect to those things. Now you might be amazed to hear this, but I think that you will be open to criticism. And you may actually also have a critical self-analysis here. You'll be very good at picking things apart. That is, you'll be a gifted critic, and you'll have a great ability to speak from intuition and first-hand experience. Now, this is a high fertility energy here. It's a family card. And you might be thinking, how do I go about combining family and career? You might be considering starting or adding to a family, or you may be speaking to people who are doing that and advising them as to how to juggle career and family. Then we go into April, and in April we have this Ace of Wands. Now, the people important to you, I suspect, will be Virgo, Leo, Cancer, even around here. This is the card of great potential to do with your will and your spirit. And what this is saying to me is that for you, that there is nothing you cannot be, there is nothing you cannot do, there is nothing you cannot have. You are the most magnificent, the most remarkable, the most splendid being God has ever created. For who could reject such wondrous magnificence? But you do not know who you are, and you think you are a great deal less. Remember, you are your own rule maker, and you are the only one who can assess how you are doing. All you see in the world is your idea about it. Life will take off for you when you choose for it to. An idea becomes a thought becomes a word. Say it out loud. Words have power, and they reverberate all throughout eternity. And a word becomes an action. And if you're going to do something, then start and go all the way. Seize the opportunities that are in front of you now. Rejoice in them, and let no power on earth take them from you. Now, you obviously take that advice from Spirit to heart, because here there is now spiritually a lot of Sagittarius around here. So it's obviously meant for you. There's also Scorpio around here as well, interestingly enough. This is telling me that you are going to be involved with dynamic forward motion and increased insight. Now, there are changes coming which you will handle brilliantly. You'll be energetic and ambitious and adventurous, and you'll have an enormous amount of determination. You'll be charming and magnetic, and you'll be very hard to resist. In fact, look, I'll give it to you straight. People are going to find you very sexually attractive. Now, you do with that what you will. Now, I also think here that there is a sense of a budding entrepreneurship around here as well. This is symbolizing the mastery of growth and inner development here, and you'll be burning away all obstacles and blocks on the path towards your own growth. Now, the energy created by increased perception is set free, and now it's going to manifest, and it will be unstoppable. Even difficult situations will move in a constructive direction. So this is a time to find your vitality, trust your gut instinct, let your hair down, give yourself a pep talk, and believe that you can do it, because you definitely can. And remember this, and say it to yourself when you get into May, that every challenge which arises helps me grow, every storm strengthens my roots. Now then, in June, we've got what I see as the Sun in Virgo. Let's have a look. What is it called? The Eight of Coins. Why am I getting Sun in Virgo spiritually? Well, Virgo, in ordinary astrology, rules the number 8. And mystically, Mercury rules the number 8. And in ordinary astrology, Mercury rules Virgo and is the planet which is exalted in Virgo. So this is very favorable. But in the card, I see the sun in Virgo. Well, here the sun energizes Virgo's hard work and attention to detail. I think what this is saying to me is that sometimes I think for you that there is here in June maybe a strength in just doing nothing at all, in a sense, but is without, I mean by that, don't force things is what I see. Sow the seeds, set back and wait for the harvest. I think it's a time when you'll be quite cautious about things. You'll take some calculated risks and you'll be careful with money. I think learning and upskilling are going to be important to you. And you'll have an interest in structure and detail. That could also extend to things like fashion, hair, makeup, and what have you. But this is also about not overextending yourself or underextending yourself. Rather, it's about being in the sweet spot where you can see all the bases that are out there. Do you see? What you have going on here is a flowering of internal and external richness. There's a wisdom, there's a carefulness, there's a prudence that's around. This is saying that you might need time and patience to develop something. Now don't force it as it's a long-term thing, and be prepared to bide your time and let it come into fruition. But it is encouraging you to keep doing what you're doing, as it is going to eventually lead to success. Now, of course, it will require a lot of dedication, focus, and patience. Well, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it, and there'd be no value in it. But as time passes, you will get closer to your goal. Now, it may not be apparent to you at the time, but events will be unfolding that are going to lead you to your destination. So at that time, just relax and trust life. Now, when we get into July, I see the moon and I see Libra. Spiritually, that's what's coming up. The moon in Libra. The moon in Libra is what I get, and it's the first decan of Libra, the 23rd of September to the 2nd of October. Look, this is a really good combination, I think. Did you know that your moon sign describes your instinctive or emotional energies? Now, with the moon in the sign of Libra, you will likely want or have a deep need for peace and harmony in your life. Now, as you know, Libra is symbolized by the scales. It relates to balance. And this relates to any area of your life which requires balance. And this includes your personal environment, your work, or your relationship with other people. Now, I don't think there's anything dramatically good or bad about this. It's about neutrality and balance. And I think what we see here is that you've got inner peace now and the power to make decisions. And decisions regarding situations or relationships which engender emotional or material peace. There's a sense of agreement and well-being around you and a mental stability. Now, there was another sword card. And what am I getting here? I'm getting Mercury and Aquarius. Mercury, the great diplomat, the great intellect, analytical, communications, ability to think things out. Mercury in the second decan of Aquarius, which is the 30th of January to the 9th of February. Now, the air planet of Mercury finds itself in the fixed sign of air, which is Aquarius. Now, Mercury happens to be, in ordinary astrology, exalted in Aquarius, and that highlights the intellectual qualities of this energy. Now, Aquarius is an air sign. It's not a water sign, as a lot of people think. It's an air sign that can be detached and intellectual by nature, and Mercury's ability to analyze and think about things, it brings a clear perspective to you going forward. So this spiritual astrology around here, to me, suggests that you need a somewhat detached but balanced assessment of a situation. You need to analyze something without too much emotion to get the best result. Now, Aquarius is also the sign of innovation and originality. So this could also represent you speaking or communicating ideas that are new, even unconventional, in a very orderly way. You'll have a great ability to analyze things and to bring ideas together. In fact, I go so far as to say that you will step back and have an all-encompassing vision that brings an all-embracing understanding. Now, this is also suggesting to me that there could well be a situation that, up until this month, that you hadn't really been able to come to grips with, but now it's getting better because you are thinking out a better approach in dealing with the situation. Now, you will possess the ability to perceive things on different levels and from different perspectives, and your understanding of things will unite many different aspects. Trust your insight. Communicate in a way others will understand. Allow the rose within you to unfold and say, "The rose of recognition blossoms in my heart." Then we move on next to the King of Coins, the Lord of wild and fertile lands. Now, Virgo and Leo are here. Why am I getting Virgo? Well, I suppose it's because the first 2 decans of Virgo are ruled by the Sun and Venus, respectively. And because it's all to do with growth and nature and developing things in the land, well, the Sun is required for crops, isn't it? And the nurturing qualities of Venus, they only complement him. So put the Sun and Venus together and I get Virgo. Now, this could well be someone who is of the land, but you will be patient, a hard worker, clever. Very much so. I think you will be quite instinctive by nature during this period, with a good work ethic that will bring results over the longer term. But that was also what this was talking about in a way, wasn't it? So I think that this is using a work ethic to get things done, really. What I will say is this, though. I'm just getting something which is bubbling underneath this energy here, and that is that, is there a danger that you might be spending too much time on work or in work, so that you might even be a workaholic of nature? Just make sure there's a proper balance between the different areas of your life. But what will happen is that with every task that is going to come your way will also come the energy needed to accomplish it. And then we come into Saturn in Sagittarius. Saturn in Sagittarius. How do you reckon that's going to go? That's what I'm getting up from this for this period here. And it's the 3rd decan of Sagittarius, which you would know as the 13th of December to the 22nd of December. Look, you know that Sagittarius wants to expand and express its optimism and its spiritual side. And Saturn is, in some respects, all about restriction. And so it can repress the expansive nature of Sagittarius. I think what this is talking about also is that there is a slow, heavy, obstinate energy around here where the whole picture suggests oppression or repression. It's an obstinate vibe that's going on. There is the possibility of repressed feelings or energy held back, isolation. Maybe it's because you are at this time going to be overburdened with things or taking on too much, feeling the pressure or feeling that you don't have control over circumstances. Or it could also be that you are a victim of your own success. Well, this energy is an invitation. Recognize and end any repression or restriction of your own life impulses out here in October. And that will be a step towards taking responsibility for yourself and freeing yourself from, in particular, unjustifiable moral restrictions and limitations. Yeah, there's just the sense that I'm getting there, that there is a feeling of being blocked, and no matter how hard you try, you feel that you can't achieve things. And look, here's the terrible thing, that the downside of that is that the danger is that you begin to lose faith in yourself and your ability to get what you want. Now, this is something that you must not do, because you should say to yourself at this time, I have the right to follow my feelings and life impulses. And that is rewarded with this Ace of Cups. Now, this Ace of Cups is unconditional love. It's emotional richness everywhere. You see, you take these things on and you are rewarded. When you do the spiritual work, you find that you are rewarded. Now, the people around you at this time, I think they're going to be important, include, well, this has got a lot of Sagittarius in it, but I think Scorpio is also going to be here. And I think Libra will be important as well. Now, the Suit of Cups, of course, embodies your experience of relationships, the pursuit of happiness, love, fulfillment, pleasure. But of course, you can't have those things unless you've had the opposite, can you? But nevertheless, there is a great degree of emotional clarity here and a deep love of the self. And you must love yourself. If you don't love yourself, you don't know the value of yourself. And so that when you offer your love to someone, you know what it is worth, and you know the value of something that somebody is offering to you. But this is love in its purest sense. Emotional abundance, possibly a new relationship here, birth or pregnancy, a great degree of sensual passion, and an emotional balance available to be used and drawn upon for the next year. Certainly one of the best cards in the deck to have, and that's in November. And then very quickly for December, here we have the moon. Look, the moon has different phases, doesn't it? And what this does say to me, apart from anything else, is that this is a resurrection for you, because the moon goes dark and then it comes light again. And this is a period where you, in a sense, you resurrect, you become a new person, you become an enhanced person. But it's also a sort of a final testing point of view. I see Neptune in Pisces with Venus exalted. Well, Pisces is very much associated with the subconscious, with emotions, with intuition and artistry. And Neptune's watery depths are associated with dreams, visions, and the imagination, which links it in well with the qualities of the moon, I think. But this is suggesting a time in your life when something might not be as it appears to be, a situation that is deceiving. So be aware of that. And also look into your shadow self, because the moon and also is about getting into yourself. Embrace your shadows so they don't become strange. Wonderful year. Maybe your best year ever.
I thought that was fascinating, didn't you? And didn't you enjoy the artwork on the cards? It's so unusual, isn't it? You don't really see anything like it anywhere like that. I must try and remember who it was that gave this to me. And you know, the best thing is with tarot decks is that people actually gift them to you rather than you buy them yourself. Did you know that? And the tradition is to tie string around the deck before you give it to the person as well. That's the old tradition anyway. But look, if you did enjoy the reading, please do me this favor, and it's the only thing that I ask for you. Would you smash the like button on the way out, because it's good for the YouTube computer thing. You know, you understand how that works, probably a lot better than I do, I must say. But until I see you again, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next time. And until then, it's bye for now.